So it's a little bit dreadful out here today, and I figured it'd be a good day to do some work in the car. I actually have some lights that are burnt out here, and so I need to get to this control panel right here for the mirrors. You got the window locks, and of course the door lock and trunk, and then your window switches, all four windows. And right now I've got these two that are burned out, and this is burnt out. So what I need to do is I need to get this off, and I'm going to be replacing the incandescent bulbs that are behind here with red LEDs. They're wide LEDs. But first thing I need to do is obviously get to this, get it out. Previous generation Grand Prix, it was as simple as a trim piece that was around here, and you could just pop the trim piece off, the whole thing came out. GM redesigned the Grand Prix interiors to be more flush and less of the trim pieces. So what they ended up doing is they made it so that you have to get the entire door panel off in order to get access to this, to actually get it out. It's really easy to do. It only takes a couple of minutes. Just requires some basic tools. So we're going to go ahead and get this trim panel off. Now, depending on the age of your car, you may find that some of the retention clips that are behind this panel may break. That's just unfortunate. You can try to minimize that chance by just taking your time and being real careful. So let's go ahead and get this panel off. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get this trim piece off. Now I have the chrome accent, the aluminumized, whatever you want to call it, the fake aluminum door handle. So mine's actually one of two variants, but they both operate the same basically. You just get a flat blade screwdriver, which I have here, and I like to use a fatter head just because it minimizes the pressure point on any of these sides that you're going to be basically getting the trim piece off. If you use something really thin, there's always a possibility you could damage the plastic piece that runs around here. But it's pretty easy actually. You just be real careful, and you just nudge your screwdriver right behind, just like that. Not too far. You don't need to really crank it all the way in there. And then you just kind of pull outward, and it should, it's hard to do this with one hand, use my dominant hand here, it should pop right out like that, okay? And then the rest of the way you can just use your hand and pull this off, and then you just open the door handle and this trim piece comes off. Now on a side note, these trim pieces actually with the chrome accents here can be bought at junkyards or whatever. For those of you who do not have the chrome accents, that I believe were only available in the 2006 and up Grand Prix. It didn't matter if you had the GXP or not. So anyway, that's that piece. And the next piece we need to get out is actually this brushed aluminum, this fake aluminum piece right here. Again, real easy. Just take your screwdriver, nice and gentle, just kind of press it in, and then you should be able to pull it out just like that. See, just came right out. Just be real careful, don't jar it in there or anything, and then with your hand you should be able to get the rest of it off. So again, this is I believe this is exclusive to the 06 and up. It's just a fake aluminum piece, no big deal, but they can be bought. So the next step, there's two 10mm bolts right here, and in case you're wondering if you're doing this on another vehicle, they're usually where the door handle is, because that's what's going to receive the most force. So they typically like to put the bolts near the door handle itself. But there's two 10mm bolts, and I actually don't have a small extension, so I'm just going to be using a flat blade screwdriver with a 10mm socket on the end of it. So just like that. Okay, we have both the bolts are out, so now we can start working on removing the trim. What I like to do is go ahead and lock your door. You'll be unlocking it later, but go ahead and unlock or lock your door. That way there's less of a chance that you're actually going to break this piece off. But anyway, you take your flat blade screwdriver. I'm going to try to show you this one-handed. You take your flat blade screwdriver here, and what I like to use is a piece of towel or something, anything, just to minimize the chance that you're going to scrape the paint that's along the outer edges here. That's the last thing that you want to do, is scrape the paint. But essentially, you're going to take your screwdriver, knowing where the flat portion of it is, slide it behind the door, and then pull out. And if you get it right, you should hear the retentioner clips popping out, just like that. And you just do that all along the door until all the retentioner clips are out. Okay, I've went around and removed or pulled all of the retentioner pieces. So now you can see here, just want to be real careful. You lift up on this. Be real careful. I have to do this with two hands, but anyway, you just lift up right where the window is. Just lift up and out, being careful not to pull on the lock switch. Alright, door panel is off, as you can see here. But there's one more thing I gotta do, and that's to remove this retaining harness. And it has a simple lever there, you can see right there. You just pull out on the lever and the harness should just pop right out. Okay, you can see where I pulled the lever back. The harness, it's loose. I'm gonna have to do it with both hands, but it's loose, and now it should just come right out. Okay, so here is the door panel itself, and this goes to your side mirror controls. This is the harness that leads into the side mirror. There's the main wire harness, really easy to get out, as I showed you before. And as you can see here, it's protected with this boot, prevents water from getting in there. Here's your speaker. I believe these are 3.5-inch speakers, so if you needed to replace your speaker, you can see here you've got screws that hold this speaker in place. Real easy to get to. And if you needed to replace your window motor, you would just get in behind here. I'm not going to remove any of this stuff, but you just get in behind here. And they used to use a piece of plastic, a clear plastic, but they don't use that for the later models, or at least they never did. So yeah, because it's raining out here, I'm going to go ahead and get in as soon as possible. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and lock everything up and get the panel inside and start working on it. Now, in case you're wondering, with the door panel off, you can see there, door panel is off, your locks, electronic lock should still work. As you can see there, still works. So don't have to worry about leaving your door unlocked or trying to get in through the other side or anything else like that. Everything works just fine. That's actually independent of the window mechanism. Alright, so here's the door panel, and this is one piece. The entire door panel is one piece. There's a few things that you can remove. This handle right here, obviously. This switch housing. Well, you can get rid of the speaker if you wanted to change it out. But this would be a perfect time if you're looking to put in an aftermarket speaker and you want to keep the aftermarket housing. You would essentially just cut this out. It's actually attached. It's not separated, so you would have to cut this out in order to attach an aftermarket housing, if you so choose. So that's what it looks like, and pretty simple. We can go ahead and flip it over. It's actually not that heavy. So this is the back side, and there's where the window goes. You can see here, this is the top portion, and this is what the whole unit hangs on, essentially, before you attach it with clips. And here's your clips, retaining clips. They're plastic, and some of them have these rubber stoppers on the end. This has a rubber foam piece right here. This is actually just a liner. And here's another liner. More clips. There's a whole bunch of them. I ended up breaking this one right here, unfortunately. That's the only one that I did break. Not much I can really do about it, although I can look to getting a replacement, because they actually come out really easy. You can see that there's a stopper right here. You just push down on this and then the whole thing will come out. More of them up here in the corner. This is this leather piece is actually under here, but you can see they plastic riveted all these pieces together, so this will not come out unless you drilled it out. Most everything has rivets. Looks like they have some probably T10, 11, something like that. Screws right here that hold this in, which is where, here's the other one, which is where the two 10mm screws go. Here's your compartment under here. Again, plastic rivets to keep that in there, so that's not detachable unless you drill it out. And let's see, there's the wire harness, rather large, attached with a clip, easy to get out. There's the speaker. I'm not sure if that's a 1 inch, 1.5, but you could replace this if you needed to, if the speaker was bad. It's attached by one wire harness, so easy to replace. Let's see here. This is what I'm after right here, this entire piece right here. This is what I'm going to be pulling out. This is found on eBay, actually. The entire thing, all together, basically. You can buy it together, or you can buy it in individual switches. You have, this is essentially one unit right here. This is one unit right here, and then this is one unit right here. So these are 3 switches inside this entire thing. So you could, in fact, buy the whole thing or individual switches. So what we need to do is we need to get the harness disconnected, which is rather easy. As you can see here, they just use these clips right here. This plastic clip, you just push down on this with a flat blade screwdriver. It should come out. Same with this one right here inside. It's kind of hard for me to get this to zoom or focus, but there, right there, is another clip on the inside there. You just take your flat blade inside there, and then you just pull the whole thing out. This is similar right here, except for, you can see right there is actually the retaining clip right there. So you just take your flat blade, push in, pull the whole thing out. And the last one up here, a little harder to get to. Take your flat blade right there, push in, pull out. So really easy to get this off. So there's 4 T20. This is a T20. There's 4 T20 screws that hold this housing together, or attached to this door panel. So really easy, just get the 4 T20s out, and then this entire thing should come right out. Here is the entire unit, as you can see here. It's actually several separate pieces. As I mentioned before, you have your door locks, your window, and window lock right here. This is one big switch, and then you have your power mirrors, which is right here. This is one switch. So you have 3 separate switches. There's actually 2 wiring harnesses for the windows. I'm assuming that this wire harness goes to the window locks, and this one is for the windows themselves, but I'm not going to know until I get it all apart.